It's always something. It's always something. My idea was I was just gonna swap the tires, fix the spokes, balance and true all the tires on Vaughn's bike. I got as far as getting the front tire balanced and the new Mitas E07 installed on the front. I got the new, this is the Dakar version of the tire, you can tell by the yellow stripe, so it's a bit of a harder rubber compound. And then I was going through and trying to fix these spokes, and you can see where I replaced the one, because I knew I had one broken, so I replaced that. But then I realized that there was like 2 more that were broken on the rims, and I don't have any extra spokes. I went ahead and ordered those spokes online, but they're not gonna get here probably till end of this coming week or maybe even next week. So I can't really work on this right now. And the tire is off of that, so I can't just slap it back on and then put this thing down the kickstand. But I would like to continue to do work, and I still have 2 more tires to do on my bike. So I'm trying to figure out a way to get the tires off of my bike without the motorcycle jack. I tried doing some janky setups with like wood, jack stands, car jack, but nothing's very stable. I got it up and then I tried pushing it and it wanted to teeter over. So right now I'm just trying to do some problem solving and figure out how I can get at least a tire off and keep working today. I'd like to get at least 1 tire done. I gotta think about that. But like I said, it's always something. Always something. Alright, so a little bit of balancing and teamwork. We were able to use the jack to get the bike up off the ground, and then we put our 2 jack stands underneath the foot peg mounts. And now the actual fun begins. Rear tires off. Hope you're ready to see a battle. I'm gonna struggle with this. Monkey strength is mine. Monkey. Monkey. All right, so we got the rear tire off of the 2018. I got the rubber off of it, cleaned it up a little bit. I got it on the balancing stand now because we need to true and balance it. So far, just looking at it like this, it actually looks pretty true, but I need to get the little gauge out and see if it's in spec. All right, all the weights are off. For now, I'm just trying to see, is it true? You take this and you kind of spin it and find the highest point of run out here, and then kind of try and get it to just barely touch. Spin it, and according to the book you get 2 millimeters of run out. Okay, I'm happy with the lateral run out. Now let me check the radial run out, which is like the up and down. And I'm sure there's a better way to test this too, but I just kinda... That's pretty good. I'm not gonna mess with it because I would probably just make it worse. I would consider it true enough, and to be honest, I could be measuring it wrong, but in my opinion, it looks pretty straight. You'll see that all these spoke ends just kind of have like a little rounded cap, except for this guy. This one's recessed. So that means that that one got over tightened and it got sucked into that little cavity right there, which means it's not really doing its job as much anymore. I need to replace this one. There we go. Okay. Spoke's gone, but you see how that's kind of like busted at the tip instead of being a nice little rounded end. This is the rear tire left side spoke, and I figure I might as well just use it on mine since I can get my whole tire done while we're waiting on the other spokes to come in for Vaughn's. So finger tighten that. 18 to 35 inch-pounds. I'm gonna go with 35 probably. Alright, so I'm not going to tighten all the way to 35 yet, because I'm going to now go through and tighten all of the spokes to 35 inch-pounds. But the way you do it, and I'm no expert, I just learned how to do this yesterday, and by learned I mean I made my first attempt. You find a starting point. I'm going to start at the valve stem hole here. So I'll start with this spoke, but then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 and do it again. 1, 2, 3, do it again. And basically what that does is that alternates left, right, so you're not tightening all left side at once, because then you'll pull the whole tire off to the left. I'm not really trying to make any adjustments to the true. All right, that's good. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna see if I can't get this spoke to. If not, might be a little cooked. I don't know, man. I'm learning as I go. I don't know. And we're back at the start. And technically you're supposed to do this 3 times over because you skipped 2, right? 1, 2, 3. Alright, the next job is to put the rubber back on this tire. Got baking in the sun right now, so hopefully it becomes a bit more pliable. But I have a bad feeling about this tire. It's a very stiff tire carcass, which will make installing it pretty difficult. But we gotta do it. So we got our 17-inch tube, tire inflator. So for the rim tape, it's literally just a piece of it feels like tire material, and it just goes over the center portion to help keep water out, but then also just kind of protect the inner tube from the roughness of these spoke nipples. So you just line up the hole with the stem hole, and then you just stretch it around. Nothing crazy. Okay. Alright, rim tape installed. These are just the Tusk, this is the heavy duty, so it's 2mm. And then first I like to inflate the inner tube before I put it in, to make sure it actually holds air before I do all the work of getting it in, because I mean there could be a manufacturer's defect, it could have gotten poked in transit, who knows. Alright, so there's not any immediate obvious air leaks. Now we get the tire. It's important to check the direction of the tread. So we look for this rotation arrow. And this is on the back tire, so wheels are going to rotate this way. So you want the arrow pointing this way, which it is. And then you want to check the orientation of your rim. And on the KLR, the brake disc is on the right side. So this is the proper orientation here. On these tires, you've got the yellow mark, which represents the lightest part of the tire. So you want that to line up with your valve stem, because that's usually the heavier part of the rim. Like that. Okay. Inner tube's in. Tire lube. The battle starts now. Should have broken this out earlier. This is a knockoff Baja No Pinch. Amazon special, $40. I used it already once, and it's pretty nice. But I don't need that sleeve. Just goes on right here. No, it only works the other way. Alright, this tool's not bad for that. It's really meant for this next step though. Now I need to get the valve stem in place. Trying to get that valve stem to come in through that hole, which is presenting itself as quite difficult. Come on, dude. Super easy, you know, like 30 seconds. Definitely didn't need help. If you can figure out a better way to get that stem into that hole, let me know. So you want to make sure the inside is in that drop center. Lube it up. Now the first one's never too bad. So your bead buddy comes in. Okay. So that'll lock the bead in place there, and now we use our nifty little no pinch tool. So this just kind of helps push it down. And that is the beauty of that tool. It doesn't fix all your problems, but it helps a little bit. Alright, so now we gotta inflate this with air and seat the bead. I'm just gonna go ahead and inflate this to like 20 psi and just let it. Alright. So it definitely didn't seat the first time around. We didn't hear any sort of pop, and you can see the like seat lines around here. Going to give it a couple bounces on the ground, see if it'll seat, and if not, I'm gonna deflate it and then reinflate it to a higher PSI. Then redo it up to maybe even 60 PSI to get it to seat. We'll do 35 to start. At 32 PSI, so 35 PSI was pretty close to what I thought it would take. Alright. Looks good to me. Alright. Hi, little dog. Big old tire for this little stand. Now we get to see how balanced it is just off the bat with no balancing weights. This is supposed to be the heaviest spot right here with your valve stem because there's no weights on it right now. So we'll see if that's the thing that falls to the bottom. And that's probably gonna stop and come back. You can basically assess that that's the heavy spot. I'm gonna use a small brass weight directly across from the valve stem. And if they don't move, it's balanced. If it moves to one side, it means one side is too heavy or not enough. Okay, so it pretty quickly wanted to go to the valve side. So I went ahead and got the tire balanced. I got it off the balancing stand. It took a while to balance it. I don't know why. And then now I'm going to swap out the driven sprocket on the rear tire. And I have a new JT43 tooth, which is the stock configuration for the sprocket. I'm just changing these out because we're doing a lot of miles and I don't want to have a worn out sprocket. Taking this off now. Alright, so we're back. It's the next day. Yesterday we finished getting the back tire and the new sprocket on. That is now on, and then I need to torque down the rear axle nut to 72 foot-pounds according to the climber's manual. Alright, keep the cotter pins here. And I don't have anything that's really like useful for cutting this, so I might just angle grind those. Alright, prepare to engage safety squints. I know I said safety squints, but I think I got something in my eye. Just a hot shard of metal, it's fine.
Focus.
all that's left is the front tire, and this bike will be ready to go to Alaska. Let's do it.